Wine and fermented fruit drinks. Wine is an alcoholic beverage produced from fermented fruit. During the fermentation process, yeast consume the sugar in the fruit and release heat as they convert this sugar into ethanol, alcohol, and carbon dioxide. Wine is most commonly made from grapes, but can also be produced from other fruits such as plums, cherries, pomegranates, blueberries, blackcurrants, and elderberries. Grape wine is the type that usually comes to mind when the term wine is used. The alcohol content of wines usually ranges from 9% to 15%. Wines made from other fruits are called by the name of the fruit they are. Wine has a long history dating back thousands of years. The earliest examples of wine production date back to between 6000 and 4000 BC in the regions of present-day Georgia, Iran, Italy, and the Caucasus. These early examples represent important milestones in the history of wine. The origin of New World wines is related to the alcoholic beverages produced by the indigenous peoples of the Americas, but these beverages are mainly linked to Spanish traditions in New Spain. Spanish colonization contributed significantly to the development of wine production in the New World. Old World wines have undergone a major development in Europe with the advancement of viticulture techniques. Europe has expanded to include the 3 leading wine-producing regions. Today, the 5 countries with the highest wine production are Italy, Spain, France, the United States, and China. These countries play an important role in wine production worldwide, with both traditional and modern viticulture techniques. This long and rich history of wine production helps us to understand the development of wine culture and the differences in the various.
As a result, wine culture has been shaped by religion, trade, and exploration throughout history and has gained a rich diversity around the world. From the Phoenicians to the Romans, from the Middle Ages to the New World, this process reveals the evolution of wine production and culture. Wine varieties and coloring processes. Wine is divided into 3 main categories according to color: red, white, and rosé. Each type of wine is produced using different production methods and grape varieties, which determine their color and taste profiles. Red wine. Red wine is produced by fermenting the grapes together with their skins. In this process, the anthocyanin pigments found in the grape skins give the wine its color. In red wine making, the grape skins are left in the liquid for a long time, a process called maceration. Maceration plays a critical role in the formation of wine color and character. White wine. White wine is usually made from green grapes, but can also be produced from red grapes with the skins removed. In white wine production, the grape skins do not come into contact with the liquid, so the wine is colorless. In white wine, the separation of the skins while the grape juice is fermented makes the color white. Rosé wine. Rosé wine is produced by the coupling of white and red wines or by keeping the grape skins in the liquid for only a short time. This process creates the rosé wine's rosy color and light flavor profiles. The maceration time used in rosé wine production is usually very short, resulting in a light pink color. Tannins also play an important role in the formation of wine color. Tannins are polyphenols found naturally in plants, seeds, bark, wood, leaves, and fruit skins. Tannins can pass into wine from grape skins or from the oak barrels in which it is fermented. Tannins give wine a flavor profile called astringency or backbone. This astringency is considered an important characteristic in wine terminology. As a result, wine colors and taste profiles are determined by the production methods and grape varieties used. Red, white, and rosé wines each offer a rich variety with different production processes and ingredients. The role of tannins and anthocyanins has a critical influence on the formation of the color and taste characteristics of wines. Winemaking refers to the process of producing wine from grapes and consists of several basic stages. Here are the basic steps of winemaking. 1. Harvesting the grapes. The first step in winemaking is the harvesting of the grapes from the vineyard. The grape harvest is usually done during the ripeness of the grapes. At this stage, the grapes are carefully selected and picked with care to preserve quality. 2. Crushing the grapes. The harvested grapes are crushed in winemaking facilities to extract the grape juice. The crushing process involves breaking down the skins, seeds, and pulp of the grapes into a liquid. 3. Fermentation. The grape juice is fermented with yeasts that are naturally present on the grapes. The yeast consumes the sugars in the grape juice and converts them into alcohol. In this process, the yeast also produces carbon dioxide, which is released into the air. During the conversion of sugar to alcohol, alcohol and carbon dioxide are formed by the action of yeast organisms. 4. The formation of wine. When the fermentation process is complete, the grape juice turns into wine. After the fermentation process, the wine is aged for maturation and flavor development. At this stage, the wine can be aged either in oak barrels or in stainless steel tanks, which affects the wine profile. The winemaking process is a combination of traditional methods and modern techniques. Each stage plays an important role in determining the quality and character of the wine. Starting from the moment the grapes are picked, the process involves the most fundamental aspects of wine production, and each step affects the taste and quality of the final product. Wine is produced from many different grape varieties around the world, and this diversity creates the rich flavor profiles of wines. The main types of grapes used in wine production differ between red and white wines. Here are details about these grape varieties and types of wine. 1. Red grape species. Red wines are usually produced using one or more of the following grape varieties. Cabernet Sauvignon, a grape with deep color and strong tannins. It usually produces aged, complex red wines. Merlot, used for soft, fruity, and slightly tannic wines. It is usually more accessible and has a rounder flavor profile. Pinot Noir, a grape that produces fine, elegant, and fruity red wines, known for partial acidity and floral aromas. Shiraz, Syrah, a grape that produces spicy and dark wines. It usually has strong and intense flavor profiles. Zinfandel, a grape grown in the American heartland that produces spicy, fruity wines. Nebbiolo, used for complex, ageable wines with strong tannins and acidity. Sangiovese, a grape grown in the Tuscany region of Italy that produces wines that are generally acidic and fruity. Tempranillo, of Spanish origin and is often used for fruity, spicy wines. Aglianico, produces wines with strong tannins and high acidity, usually aged for a long time. Gamay, used for light, fruity, and low-tannin wines, grown mainly in the Beaujolais region. Grenache, produces fruity and spicy wines, usually with high alcohol and soft tannins. Contra, produces wines with a rare and sweet character, typical of the South Caucasus. Karalahna, native to Turkey, grown mainly in the Tokat and Amasya regions and offering a variety of flavor profiles. Barbera, grown in the Piemonte region of Italy, it produces fruity wines with high acidity. 2. White grape varieties. White wines are produced from the following grape varieties. Chardonnay, one of the most popular white grape varieties in the world and usually produces rich, fruity, and creamy wines. Riesling, often used for sweet and fruity wines. It has high acidity and rich flavors. Sauvignon Blanc produces fresh, acidic, and fruity wines. It usually contains lemon and green apple flavors. Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, usually used for light and dry white wines, offers fruity and slightly spicy flavor profiles. Gewürztraminer produces sweet and spicy wines, often with rich flavors and low acidity. Chenin Blanc offers a wide range of flavors from sweet to dry, usually produces rich and fruity wines. Muscat generally produces sweet and aromatic white wines, contains floral and fruity aromas. Pinot Blanc produces soft and fruity white wines, usually medium-bodied and light flavor profiles. Semillon, often used for sweet white wines. It also produces dry and rich flavors. Trebbiano, usually used for light and fresh wines. It offers low acidity and light flavor profiles. Vasiliki, a grape variety of Greek origin, and usually produces fruity and fresh white wines. Viognier produces aromatic and rich white wines. It often contains apricot and peach flavors. Wine has played an important role in religion and culture throughout history. In ancient Egypt, red wine was associated with blood and used in religious ceremonies. The wine cults of Dionysus in ancient Greece and Bacchus in Rome emphasized the religious and cultural importance of wine. Wine was also included in the Kiddush in Judaism, the sacred drink drunk on the Sabbath and special occasions, and the Eucharist in Christianity, the sacred wine used during communion. These religious practices are important traditions that continue the ancient roots and sacred meaning of wine. The Egyptian, Greek, Roman, and Israeli wine cultures maintain a strong connection to these ancient roots and continue the cultural heritage of wine. Similarly, the great wine regions of Italy, Spain, and France also have heritages linked to sacred wine. In these regions, wine production offers a history intertwined with religious and cultural traditions. Viticultural traditions in the southwestern United States carry a similar heritage. Wine production in New Mexico and California was initiated by Catholic priests and monks during the New Spain period, which laid the foundation for wine culture in this region. Catholic missionaries brought this tradition to the Americas and played an important role in the development of viticulture and wine production in the region. In conclusion, wine has a deep significance both in terms of religious rituals and cultural heritage. These traditions, which date back to ancient roots, reveal the richness and diversity of wine culture. Wine production has a long history dating back thousands of years. The birthplace of winemaking is generally considered to be modern-day Georgia. Archaeological and archaeobotanical studies in this region date the beginnings of grape wine and viticulture to 6,500 BC. These early findings emphasize the importance of Georgia for the history of wine production. After Georgia, wine production is thought to have started in the South Caucasus, as well as in eastern Anatolia and northern Iran. Archaeological findings in Iran indicate that wine production began around 5000 BC, while findings in Sicily suggest that wine production began around 4000 BC. The oldest winery was found at the Arini I cave complex in present-day Armenia. This site provides important evidence for the early stages of wine production, with a winery dated to around 4100 BC. In China, traces of tartaric acid have been found in pottery dating to 7000 BC. Although these findings show the existence of wine production in China, it is thought that these drinks may have been produced with other fruits instead of grapes, or with a mixture of fruit and rice. In conclusion, wine production started and developed in various regions throughout history. While Georgia stands out as the center of early wine production, the presence of beverages made with different fruits in China and other regions shows that wine culture spread and diversified over a wide geography. The historical Phoenicians are thought to have played an important role in the spread of wine culture to the west. The Phoenicians exported wine from the Phoenician city of Byblos in the eastern Mediterranean to the Old Kingdom of Egypt and other Mediterranean regions. In two Phoenician shipwrecks dating back to 750 BC and discovered by Robert Ballard, the wines carried by the ships have survived intact. The Phoenicians protected the wines from oxidation with a layer of olive oil and a seal made of pine resin. In ancient Greece, wine was often mentioned by writers such as Homer and Alcman. In Roman times, the Romans planted vineyards around garrison towns to supply wine to their military units. These regions laid the foundations of today's important wine production centers. The Romans also discovered that burning sulfur candles inside empty wine bottles kept the wine fresh and prevented it from turning vinegary. In medieval Europe, the Catholic Church supported wine production and used the beverage during the Missa Mass. Thanks to this support, Christian monks produced wine, and wine culture developed further in a religious context. Over time, wine used for religious purposes was refined and improved in taste. These developments led to the creation of modern winemaking traditions such as French, Italian, American, German, Portuguese, Swedish, Argentine, Chilean, and Spanish wines. Geographical discoveries brought these traditions to the New World, and wine production in the New World began. The winemaking activities in Vinland, mentioned in the Vinland sagas of the Vikings, are among the oldest examples of winemaking in the New World. In later periods, wines started to be produced in New Mexico and California and have a long history in these regions.